Scientists studying the brain discovered something surprising. Your brain starts deciding before you even realize you've made a choice. And if that's true, then decision making might not work the way we think it does. Surprising if you see a thin line between action and awareness. And this is how neuroscience starts to hint there is something strange happening behind the scenes that you were never consciously aware of. So the real question is, what if the experience of decision making is an illusion? And to be honest, in reality, we must have experienced all of this. An example is a thought that appears in our brains. The moment it appears, quickly agree to it. And the last thing is react on it. It feels easy, no stress at all. And since it's your thought, it makes you feel personal. But there is something more to it. When we look at neuroscience, it suggests something else. What if I told you the voice in your head may not be your decision making? Why is that? Well, the fact is, some researchers compare our conscious mind to a narrator who explains actions only after the brain has already initiated them. This is based on lab studies showing the neural activity begins shortly before a person even realizes they have decided to move. Another example will make it clear to you. People generally are very controlling. They like to control each and everything in their lives. This can lead to a negative side of controlling. Why is that? It is because we feel any outcomes can be controlled by us at any cost, and if we have to lie to our brains. But in reality, these results happen by chance and not fixed results. This is how we call it the illusion of controlling things without even realizing it. But here's something more interesting to know. Our stems are human stems. We call it the great nervous system. It prepares the muscles to get ready. And after that, the awareness shows up. Most of our brains are constantly running things in the background. And the reality is, what are those things? Scanning, comparing, and predicting. And this is how the brain processes. Even if you ask your brain to do it or not, it will keep processing constantly. So the most shocking thing about the brain is decisions aren't debated. They are recognized by the brain, and that's how we make our decisions. How many of us do this? And this makes sense. Why we say we made a poor decision, and the pattern is repeated over and over again until you finally learn to think differently and take the command in your hand to take the right decision. So what's the downside? You keep taking the decision the brain gives you. It turns out to be an illusion, living under the shelter of fear of outcomes. But this is crazy. All of this happens long before you choose it. Your nervous system has already calculated its worth. What are those things? Did you even realize this? No? Well, it's memory, emotion, risk, and reward. These are things that make it happen. But the question is, if all this happens and they're illusion, then why does choices feel so real? Here's what it is all about. Because our brains like to store memories as a story written by you, and it will make you feel you have written the story as your own, and you are identified because of that story. And without the story, life would be chaotic and disturbed. So here's something important. You learn every time you make a decision. What is that? Your brain does not ask you what is best for you. It will ask you what is familiar and how you can make sense out of it. But you also need to know it is not done by itself. The mechanism that works behind it is the most expensive neurochemical, I personally call it, and it is dopamine. Even neuroscientists like Wolfram Schultz have shown that dopamine signals don't chase happiness. They track what worked before to predict future rewards. This is clearly understood why people cannot leave old patterns and addictions, because you keep repeating it. The brain connections get stronger and gets into a comfortable setting. So no new ideas were welcomed by your brain. And that is not all we know, because control does not live in the moment of choice. Please understand this. It mostly lives earlier, and some of the examples will make it clear to you. What is that? What you repeatedly practice. What environments did you stay in? What emotional conditions did you normalize? Humans cannot override what we call it impulse, rather than you train your brain system that mostly generate impulses. So the question is, how can you do that? Our brains have something special, and it is like a water, flexible and adjustable. And what we call it, neuroplasticity. Here's what you can do. All you need is to change the information, the input information that is sent to the brain, and your outcome will change on its own. There are many living examples to it. Like, for example, I will diet tomorrow, where the word tomorrow will never come. We all know that, you and me. But if we change this information to, let me try and eat this healthy food in my breakfast, but the criteria is, do it at the moment. You think about it and you just do it. Don't do it tomorrow. You will see that the change will happen automatically when you do it right now. So the final question is decision making an illusion? It is partially yes. Why? Because you choose to accept anything that your brain throws on you and make you feel this is real, but mostly you are under the spell of familiar outcomes, where you live under the shelter of fear and outcomes. But if you're capable to reshape, you have become over time, that is real decision making and not an illusion. Remember this: every time you're under pressure or you think you're not making the right decision, you are not the author of every thought that is spinning inside your head. Remember this. This does not mean you're not powerless. The fact is, you are the environment your brain has adapted to. So the real deal is letting go of the idea that control has to be loud, immediate, and it has to be conscious. Remember this: the biggest test of time lies in the deepest influences that happen when you're quiet, slow, and accumulated. So if this video helped you to see your own mind in a different light, then stay with the channel. We don't simplify the brain. Here, we listen to it. And lastly, the most important thing, take care of your brain and it'll take care of you. Thank you.